So the ABC/Disney ratings disaster continues, and it actually got worse after the whole George Stephanopoulos situation that took place just the past 2-3 days ago. What's really interesting, however, has a lot more to do with Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, Joy Behar, the entire table of The View, now playing the blame game yet again toward George Clooney specifically, and others out there within the Hollywood bubble, within the film industry that is now pretty much collapsing, and we are witnessing this before our very own eyes with the media as well. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So, Whoopi Goldberg. One thing that we do know about her is that she is now pretty much going into the state of insanity. We know that she's blaming everyone left and right about why they lost in 2024 and exactly why they are where they are right now. Now, one thing that we know for sure is that those out there like Sunny Hostin and Whoopi Goldberg, they were the main contributors as to why the ratings of The View have tanked and why it continues to go down month by month. But interestingly enough, we know one thing about Whoopi Goldberg right now is that she really is doubling down on her overall agenda. She is doubling down on pointing the finger at everybody and blaming everyone for why ABC/Disney is going through pretty much a state of panic right now when it comes to the ratings for the Jimmy Kimmel Live show, Good Morning America, Kelly and Mark, and even, of course, The View, one of the biggest programs on ABC/Disney's side that they use as pretty much a way of inserting their agenda through talking heads, and it's not looking good at all for 2024 and what looms for next year. Now, specifically, of course, with the ABC/Disney ratings disaster only getting worse, especially after their recent series of lawsuits, one monumental development going on now involves more to do with Whoopi Goldberg of The View now snapping and blaming George Clooney. Now, Goldberg recently delivered the following. Look, as a woman, and I believe women deserve to have a larger voice in 2024, but I think that we wouldn't be sitting here today trying to adjust with the facts that we lost if it weren't for Mr. Clooney really getting so involved in politics that led us to where we are today. Looking back a couple of months ago, back in like early June, whatever it was, we should have just stayed where we were and rolled the dice, because that would have been a better route to take and most likely would have resulted in a better outcome. And I really think actors like George Clooney and others that had such a large voice put us in this dark and gloomy future that we are about to deal with in January. It's just so unfortunate that we had someone on our side that we believed had the right guidance. We believed that he had the right hunch on what to say and how to say his opinion on where we needed to go to win in 2024. And we were wrong. And it's because of actors like him that have to, of course, now think of ourselves. And how do we go back to normalcy in 2028? How do we accomplish that? That's my fear. And look, the man who won, and I still refuse to say his name because he just, of course, wants to act like a king, and just naming him angers me so much. Had Mr. Clooney taken a different approach that was more civil, we would not have to deal with sexism, misogyny, and bigotry as things that are being celebrated right now from the general public. That's my number one issue right now, is that it was those like Mr. Clooney and Robert De Niro that made us so confident that we really had this and that we were going to win if we made these changes. And now look where we are. It's not only completely unfair, but it's also inhuman to believe that this is how we should live. And look, I think that we learn from our mistakes, right? Because as a woman, I think I need to start looking up to more female voices and their opinions. George Clooney just needs to stay out of politics next time around. He just should not even get involved or say anything anymore about the next cycle. So guys, let me just say one thing about this before we move on. Now, Whoopi Goldberg is obviously trying to cope with the 2024 loss. We know that they are playing the victim right now. They're playing the blame game train. They are going to continue to scapegoat day in and day out. And I think at the same exact time, this is the best example, by the way, of pretty much they are all eating each other when the chips are down. And we all saw this coming. I pointed this out several times about a year and a half ago that this would actually happen, where basically the media would collapse to the point where you would have these major talking heads like Sunny Hostin, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, really blame gaming major actors, major actresses that were on their side that are seemingly now, you know, pretty much being blamed by the same talking heads. And you have Whoopi Goldberg pretty much now losing control of her mind to the point where she's not really making any sense. It doesn't really sound like that she's really putting a good point out there at all. And simultaneously we have those out there, like I said earlier, Bill Maher, who rejects to have George Clooney on his show. As the same goes for Robert De Niro, and the same exact thing goes for other talking heads within the media. Bill Maher, even Bill Maher, wants nothing to do with those like Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, and of course George Clooney, Robert De Niro, I mean, you name it. So this is a shining example, I think, of where things are heading for the last couple of days of 2024. I mean, the last couple of weeks, you know, we had got like 2 weeks and change left before this year ends and before we get into 2025. And by the way, 2025 is going to be a very interesting year for ABC/Disney because we know that Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, he is desperately trying to make drastic changes to the company in a desperate move to really kind of shift things to a more centered, you know, overall idea. This is exactly why they want to throw a argumentative voice on The View to counter opinions being thrown out there by Whoopi Goldberg. It's not going to work. It's not going to make more viewers, that's for sure. However, on top of this, she goes on to conclude, this man that wants to act like a king, I think wants to silence the entire media and wants to hand the voice all over to Elon Musk only. And that's what frightens me. So yes, I'm scared. So yes, I am frustrated deeply over Mr. Clooney's comments that he made back in June. If those comments were not made, I assure you we would have won. We would be in a far different position right now. I will continue to be a part of that voice of reason and freedom until we accomplish those goals to win everything back. Because we have no other choice right now, you know? So, Whoopi Goldberg, again, this is another prime example of somebody like Goldberg who is getting worse by the day. I don't know if you guys agree with me on this, but it seems like she's getting worse by the day when it comes to how she's saying things, what she's saying out there to the public, and how she's growing more and more angry week by week on The View. And so I think that's why you have the ABC/Disney ratings continuing to tank. We know that, like I said before, George Stephanopoulos and his whole lawsuit that he's dealing with right now is not helping the image of ABC/Disney and how much of, you know, they are associated with liars. And it's a fact. It's a real fact. It's not hyperbole. They truly are liars because they use talking heads to promote their overall agenda, whether it's through Bob Iger or the Disney board of directors, the executives, whatever it may be. They use the same talking heads within the media to basically get their lies out to the general public. So overall, I think that Whoopi Goldberg had it coming. I think that she deserves everything that she got. And she's only digging herself also into a deeper hole, much like those out there like George Clooney, Robert De Niro, and many others. So overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.